kidnapping and ritualism is the order of the day in our society. In recent times, a 5-year-old pupil of Nobel Kids School was abducted in Kano State. And of course, that was quite trending in the social media. Hanifa was also kidnapped by her teacher, one Abdul Malik Mohammed Tanko, and two others. After paying a ransom of 6 million naira, this girl was still murdered or killed by the teacher with a rat poison, alleging that the girl recognized him. Again, Rufiat, a young girl, was recently abducted in Ogun State, alleged by ritual killers. And the pain in all of this, or this recent one, was that it's just teenagers, teenage boys, lured this girl. The teenage boys, maybe her ex-boyfriend and the current boyfriend, maybe they were trying to settle a rift, nobody knows. But the girl was abducted, lured, abducted, where they beheaded her. Strange things they say happen. What kind of society are we building? This is our focus today on Facts, Face, and Forum. My name is Peace Isaac Yerokun. I welcome you. After the break, we will deal with this topic and all other segments in Facts, Face, and Forum. Stay with us. The common thing about these three stories is that the killers are not strangers to the victims. They are people they know. My guest today is Ronke Posh. She is a parent coach and a director of the Posh Schools. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. Now, is a strange thing that happens. And to say that teenage people or teenagers are now involved in all of this, that leaves um, much room to be desired. As a director of schools, because I'm more concerned about the teenage boys, the more recent incidents, because they are very young people. And these boys are probably, students in a certain school. Now, what is actually going on with our children?
I think the question is what is actually going on with our parents?
Okay.
Because it's actual moral decadence in society. Um, a lot of people that should be guiding these children and a lot of people that should be leading them right are also doing things that are wrong. Um, it's not a shock what is happening. It's something that society has prepared from the actions that we carry out on a day-to-day basis. You see our children watching all sorts of movies. You see them watching violent movies, occultic movies. This is what a lot of Nollywood are producing. So there's no way that they haven't sensitized these children. When you go on social media, you see people spending money, spending hard-earned money. It's so much now that they are using machines to spray the money. The fast living is promoted online. So the children, they want a part of it. They want to have that fast life. There's no dignity in hard work anymore. They just want to, wake up one day and next thing that they're billionaires, they have all the money in the world. So the society, the parents, they have failed the children in many ways. When you think about the children that beheaded Rafiat, where were their parents? Where did they tell them that they were going to at that point in time? Who is caring for them? Because they are still minors, all of them.
Yes.
All the children are
Under
minors,
18, yes.
and they have left their home and they have gone. And I still read in the papers as well that Rafia's sister didn't know where she was going. She just said she's going back, she's going out, and unknown destination. And she called her later in the day to say, "Are you coming back tonight?" Meaning that she had the option of not coming back that night. So it's so sad. But then what is going on is that We need accountability.
Well, I do perfectly understand, what you're saying, but sometimes I find it difficult to believe that it's all the parents that to be blamed. I don't know how a reasonable parent will encourage the child um, to either involve himself or herself in kidnapping or killing someone else.
The thing is, you should already be watching your children, but a lot of parents will tell you that they're busy, that they're working to put food on the table. So that watch is not there, because if that time is spent, the value system will be there. There will be a vision in the family. There will be guiding principles in the family, so that the child will not even err in the first place. The child has a moral compass in the beginning. It's not until the child is
Strays.
already involved in all sorts of practices then you say, "Oh, I'm suspicious. I want to check what my child is doing." No, right from the onset, you should say, "This is how we behave in this family. These are our values. We are people of integrity. We are leaders in this family. We are upright people in this family. We don't behave in this way. When we go out, we tell somebody where we are going to. We're not greedy. We believe in hard work. We have already groomed our children in this way. We've kept them as much as possible from the media and social media and all those things, that fast living. And we've shown them example of upright living. And we've also controlled the places that they go, peer pressure. We are involved in them. We're having the right conversations with our children. So these are the things that we should do. We shouldn't wait until
They go bad.
it is bad.
Cool. And again, we know that, for instance, in Nigeria, the standard of education is falling, and then everybody, a lot people are struggling to put their children in private schools, and these private schools don't come cheap. There's a whole lot of societal
Of course. Yeah.
problem that needs to be dealt with, because if you make it difficult, even the public schools, I mean, like universities, are not cheap either.
Yeah.
And you put a child in the school, for instance, and it's for a 4-year course, is staying in that university for 6 years. So everybody is struggling. So who is to be blamed?
So you've mentioned rightly that society is part of the blame. A lot of our young people, when they even have children these days, you find that they're praying for them that 9 months from today they should have children. A lot of the parents that we see these days, are parents that have not been parented well, and they are now becoming parents of children. A lot of them don't have the capacity to raise children, and the planning is not there. So we need things like parenting classes when people are about to get married, so they can have an idea. A lot of people will come around to the Posh and say, "How much is school fees?" and they all want to pass out, because they've not done the due diligence. People just believe that once you finish from school, you get married and have children. The reality should be in place now, so that people can stagger how they have their children. They can begin to understand that I need to be earning a certain amount of money. I'm going to face certain challenges. It's not, oh, back to back having of children. You see that a lot of people, they don't even cater for things like traumatic stress disorder or anything. It's just to have those children, and then everything becomes one big surprise, because it is expensive to raise children, home and abroad. It's not a Nigerian thing. It's a global thing. So if we know, because I know people personally that say they don't want children, not Nigerians, they don't want children because they know what they want. But they are not greedy or selfish or inward looking. They know and they put them first. But the Nigerians they will put us under pressure. We will have these children back to back, no way of caring for the children, and then we destroy their lives, because a lot of parents, in the haste of moving from here to there, trying to put food on the table, there's a lot of frustration that goes on. There's a lot of beating, a lot of shouting, a lot of a lot of people are suffering from childhood trauma right now because of the pressure of having these children. So a lot of things have not helped. Society hasn't helped. So it's time for the government to begin to intervene, to begin to do a lot of advocacy, to do a lot of teaching, to tell people, even all the religious bodies, they need to come out and start to tell people that this kind of prayers that these people are praying, let people understand the realities of life.
I even know that even then that parents or mothers stayed at home and worked. Like my own mother, who farmed, wasn't at home with me all the time. How do we get how do we get it right from the point we are now?
So if you've said rightly, and for you to ask that question, am I doing it right, means you're an intentional parent. That means you care, you are concerned. So there's a lot of learning to be done. People assume that parenting is innate. Oh, I gave birth to a child, I will know how, I will do it the way my parents do it. For you to raise the new generation, the Alpha Gen, the Gen Z children, you have to learn how to do it. It's not innate.
Okay.
People assume that parenting is innate. That the way that you must parent this new generation of children. They are children that are digital natives. They are children that they don't know a life without technology. most of them. That is
Yes.
what they know. That is what they've been born into. And a lot of the parents that are raising them are digital immigrants. They don't understand what is going on. So they get lost easily. Even you tell your child to come and update ordinary WhatsApp for you, and they begin to block you from where they exist on social media, and you say you are close to your children. They need those conversations. All the beating and shouting doesn't work. You find children these days, they'll tell their parents, you don't have to shout. They will tell you when you are shouting, and you don't have to, because they understand that there are other ways of communicating. So parents need to begin to read books, go for seminars, because parenting classes and courses are the least attended in the world. Globally, you find that those type of courses, if you say how to make 1 million in 3 days, the class will be full, busting the doors everywhere, the roads will be blocked. But to come and tell people to learn how to parent their child, nobody can tell me how to raise my child. I know how to raise my child.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me not to beat my child, because that defense is now there, because you want to do it the way you think you know it. If you fail to learn, then you have already begun to program yourself to destroy the very foundation of your child.
No, I don't know whether to say I'm scared or concerned, because none of us have ever bothered about parental classes or parenting classes.
Because people are
Me,
doing
I'm
it.
guilty of that, and I don't know that is, yes. It's we believe that, yes, it's in it. I can
It is. Yeah, people
not
believe.
judge
Yeah,
them.
they say, I'll just call grandma. Grandma will do omugo. They will show you, tell you one or two things. And oftentimes, when it comes to discipline, which is, for example, that's a very common thing. What do people do? Beat her. Beat it out of her. Your child is talking. Beat the child. The child does. Beat the child. Beat. It's always beating. What other strategies are there? A lot of people don't know the strategies to raise children these days. It's just continue to beat the child. But you find that after a while, the child normalize that beating is they normalize. In fact, some of them will even bring their hand. Beat. That's the worst you can do. So even when they want to err in such a terrible way, they know that you're going to shout. If they're being abused online or cyberbullied online, or they are blackmailed online, they won't tell you, because they know that you are either going to shout or beat. Didn't I tell you about that social media? They know you're going to judge, condemn, compare, all those things. So they will stay away. So the connection is important. The emotional connection is important. A lot of parents need to stay away from that shouting and beating and get to the mind and the heart of their children. That's what they need to do. But they will quote the scripture for you. They will tell you to spare the rod and spoil the child.
Sure.
Yeah, they will tell you that is in the Bible. But they forget to research that rod. That is a rod of correction, a rod of discipline, a rod of miracles. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. They don't remember all those things. I've done my research about the rod. I've written a book about the rod, so I understand what I'm saying. The same Bible will tell you that a disobedient child should be stoned to death. Do we stone our children to death? We choose what we want to do, because we want to do the lazy parenting, the one that gets instant results, which is the beating and the shouting. But those instant results do not have long-term beneficial results. What we need to do are to learn new strategies that will help us connect with our children even forevermore. And those sort of strategies, they do exist.
Can you give us some of them?
Of course, I can share. So if you for example have children, number one, you have to first of all focus on yourself. Even before the children, you have to focus on yourself. If you are someone that is dealing with a lot of abuse, for example, someone has been badly beaten or from an abusive relationship, or perhaps was even raped, and you are struggling already as an individual, or you are in a high pressure job, you are struggling with your job, you are struggling to get home, your boss is bullying you, you're being harassed in the workplace, you leave home early in the mornings to come back very late in the evening just before the children go to bed. Your temperament alone, there's something already going on there. So when the child, maybe your 3-year-old or 4-year-old child does something, you are easily triggered because you're already in a bad state. You're easily triggered. You forget that what that child did is actually an expected behavior. 4-year-old children are supposed to be doing naughty things. They're not supposed to carry the Forbes newspaper or the Vanguard or Punch and be reading it. They are supposed to be playing around, and you're supposed to correct them in love. But because you're already triggered, you're already carrying a lot of baggage, then you begin to discipline the child in the wrong way. So first of all, you focus on yourself. Then you focus on the environment. When you're coming back from work, there's traffic. When you get home, there's no power. All sorts of things are happening. You don't consider those factors. All you have to do is to use that child as a punching bag again. Can you see that a lot of things are not the children? It's always something external. Because what children do are often things of expected behavior, supposed to correct them.
It's not just the women thing, even the men.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Believe
the
that.
men, we still want to preach for them to even be present in the home.
Yeah,
we have to start from there.
Modern me, I don't believe my parents beat me.
Yes.
I've had to go into a lot of arguments on that.
Yeah.
I was beaten and I'm like
I
this.
turned out all right.
Yeah.
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 But the turning out all right for
Is
them is they got married, they have a car, they have a degree, they have a house and a wife and some children. That is what is on the external. They do not think about the coping mechanisms that they have. A lot of them are hooked on alcoholism. A lot of them are side chicks to somebody, going out with somebody's spouse, addiction, drugs, all those internal things that people don't talk about. They won't say that one outside. Who wants to say that one outside? Those are coping mechanisms. Many people did not turn out all right. Many people are dealing with childhood trauma.
wow, wow, very interesting revelation here. I do hope that we can do something, about it, especially now that our children are getting involved in social vices. That's I don't know what to say about children and teenagers killing and beheading a girl. I think for me, I'm always concerned about, like I told my child the other time, the Bible talks about restitution, but what are you going to restitute? Can you restitute somebody's life that you have taken? So it's important that we get it right
And there should be consequences for the children and even their parents if necessary.
for the children involved. But are you really now out the beating and shouting? You shouldn't apply that at all.
There's something called being firm. And there's something called shouting. Shouting is a form of punishment. Beating is punishment. It's not discipline. It's when you now put somebody down, you bully them. When somebody does something in the workplace and it annoys you, do you beat them up? You don't. You can control yourself. But when it's with your children, because you know that they can't do anything back, then they feel we must do it. If we're able to apply some restraint and self-control with other people or other people's children, why can't we apply the same with our own children? It's because we want to use them as a punching bag to release all the tension and all the frustration. It's not actually discipline, it is punishment. Punishment is something that is done with pain and makes somebody feel less of a human, but discipline is something you do with love. So you don't need the rod and you don't need to shout.
It's correcting in love.
It's correcting in love. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Thank you,
inviting me.
Ronke. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I've been talking with Ronke. Well, um, so much revelations. I think I've learned. So I do learn a lot on this program because of the guests that we bring in, quality guests, and I find Ronke just one of those perfect and quality guests because I am a parent and I need to get it right with my children. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much.
Good. Um, some of us who patronize Oibo Market knows that nothing would deter us from going there. But I think if there's construction going on there, there may be a little bit of friction. But for me, around here, that's the best market where you can get things cheap. So I don't know. It's difficult assessing the market at this time, but absolutely that will end because the construction is for our good. On entertainment, let me remove this so that you see my face, how excited I am. Because this is about us, NTA. Now, I don't know if you've seen that NTA has a new network. I mean, that network news jingle that is, if I would grown to know it even before I started working here. Now, there's something new happening in that area. We have a new montage and we will look at it. NTA Network News um, beat challenge. It's actually a challenge, and to come up with all of those remix, are very exciting. Anyway, that's all for today. That's all from me on this edition of the program Facts, Face, and Forum. You know why? To say that there's another way you can get the best from your children, another way you can nurture, bring them up, train them without shouting, without beating them, and getting the best results. I'm going to read up some of those books that my guest mentioned today because I want to discover how to get it right without shouting and without beating my children. I want the best for them. I want them to excel. And I know that you also want the best for your children. So, today's edition of Facts, Face, and Forum, I'm sure you have learned something about what to do in nurturing and training your child. If beating and shouting is not giving us the best result, please, oh, parents, mothers, let's change. We have a new generation of children on our hands, and we can't continue doing it the old way. Thank you for being part of today's edition of Facts, Face, and Forum. Triple F. My name is Peace Isaac Yeroko. We'll see you again next week, God willing. Bye for now.